Introduction to Amos. Author Amos. Date written between 760 and 753 BC. Time span 7 to 10 years. Title. The book is named after its author Amos. Amos is often referred to as the Singmore grower from the south or the herdman of Tekoa. Background. Amos is a shepherd and a fruit picker from the Judean village of Tekoa, due south of Bethlehem. When God calls him, even though he lacks the education or priestly background, Amos' mission is directed to his neighbor to the north, Israel. His messages of impending doom and captivity from the nation for the nation because of her sins are largely unpopular and unheeded. However, because not since the days of Solomon have times been so good in Israel, Amos's ministry takes place while Jeroboam II reigns over Israel and Uzzih reigns over Judah about 40 years prior to Israel's exile to Assyria. Contemporary prophets are Isaiah, Hosea, and Micah, were written near Jerusalem, to whom? Primarily to Israel, but also to Judah and the surrounding nations. Content. Amos can see that beneath Israel's external prosperity and power, intentionally, the nation is corrupt to the core. The sins of which Amos chastens the people are extensive: neglect of God's word, idolatry, pagan worship, greed, corruption, leadership, and oppression of the poor. Amos begins by pronouncing a judgment on all the surrounding nations, then on his own nation of Judah. And finally, the hardest judgment is given to Israel. His vision from God reveals the same empathetic message. Judgment is near. The book ends with God's promise to Amos of future restoration of the remnant. Keywords: Plumbline, Plumblin. Hope. God's vision to Amos reveals the Plumbline standard by which the people will be tested and judged. Amos chapter 7. God's nature shines through by the hope he offers in his restoration of the land and of the people. Things. Because God is eternally righteous, he demands that we be satisfied with nothing less than his righteousness in our lives. God hates sins. The cost for having sin in our life is expensive. God often selects individuals to do his work whom the world would reject. God holds accountable for more those to whom more have been given. God's judgment is certain. God-fearing people receive blessings from God, both now and for all eternity. Outline. Number 1. God judges Israel's neighbors. Is found in Amos chapter 1, verse 1 through Amos chapter 2, verse 5. Number 2. God judges Israel. Amos chapter 2, verse 6 through Amos chapter 6, verse 14. Number 3. Amos has 5 visions. Amos chapter 7, verse 1 through Amos chapter 9, verse 10. And number 4. Israel is promised restoration. It's found in Amos chapter 9, verses 11 through 15. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of the book of Amos.